Genesis 16, Hagar and the birth of Ishmael. Greetings, brothers and sisters. Today we will study a chapter that teaches us about faith, patience, and the consequences of our choices. In Genesis 16, we see Sarai trying to fulfill God's promise through human means, resulting in the birth of Ishmael. This story reminds us that God's plans always come true, but we must wait for His perfect timing. Sarai, Abram's wife, had not yet borne children, despite God's promise. As time passed, she began to doubt. She said to Abram, "The Lord has prevented me from having children. Take my servant Hagar. Perhaps I can build a family through her." It was customary at that time for a barren wife to give her servant to her husband to bear children in her place. Abram agreed, and after 10 years in Canaan, he took Hagar as his concubine. When Hagar conceived, she began to despise Sarai, thinking herself superior. This led to conflict, and Sarai, upset, complained to Abram, "The fault is yours. I put my servant in your arms, and now she despises me." Abram replied, "She is your servant. Do with her as you see fit." Sarai then treated Hagar harshly, and she fled into the wilderness. While wandering alone, the angel of the Lord appeared to Hagar near a spring and asked, "Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from? And where are you going?" She replied, "I am fleeing from my mistress Sarai." Then the angel of the Lord said, "Return to your mistress and submit to her." The angel then gave her a great promise. "I will greatly multiply your descendants so that they will be too numerous to count. Behold, you are pregnant and will bear a son, and you shall name him Ishmael. For the Lord has heard your affliction. He will be like a wild donkey. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand will be against him, and he will dwell in hostility toward all his brothers." Hagar was amazed by God's presence and exclaimed, "You are the God who sees me." She named that place Beer-lahai-roi, meaning the well of the living one who sees me. Hagar returned to Sarai, and sometime later, she gave birth to a son. Abram named him Ishmael. At that time, Abram was 86 years old. This passage teaches us that when we try to fulfill God's plans in our own way, we can bring suffering and unnecessary difficulties. Sarai tried to solve the problem on her own, but her decision brought pain and division. However, we also see that God is merciful. He found Hagar in the desert, saw her suffering, and gave her a great promise. This reminds us that God never abandons us, even in the most difficult moments. If this message touched your heart, like, comment, and share. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episodes. In the next episode, we will see Genesis 17, where God establishes the covenant of circumcision with Abraham. Don't miss it.